So what'd you have in mind?
Okay. Well, first, I just give a shout out to something cool that happened this week.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So I was at a work conference I was telling you about, and
Did you say
saw
something exciting?
something exciting.
Well, you just said work.
I know. But I was at work. I was at a work conference,
okay, yes.
and I saw Ben Brown.
Oh, Ben Brown.
Yeah.
He's a little bit like my twin. Did you hear that with Joey?
Oh, really?
Joey's like, oh, I finally got you two standing next to each other.
That's awesome.
I'm like, oh, I could see that just a little bit.
Yeah, it was
Long
super
hair and
cool.
stuff, yeah.
We're in the same industry, so I thought it was super cool to see him there.
Yeah.
And hey, Ben, if you're listening, hello.
Hello, 1-4.
And also, I got to meet his dad. Super cool dude. Super cool guy.
Wonder if his dad has tried jiu-jitsu.
I actually asked him that, and no, but he's an avid cyclist,
Ooh.
and he's actually got his first cyclocross competition this week.
Nice.
Which I thought was super BA. Like, the guy's 60 and just getting out there and gripping and ripping it.
So is that like a distance thing, or is that like a time thing?
Oh, cyclocross is brutal. It's a biking thing.
Sure.
But you get off your bike and you have to like get over obstacles and climb up stuff, and then you get back on the bike. Yeah, it's like across the grass and dirt and stairs. It's wild. It's really cool though. So I thought that was so cool to see someone who's like, reminds me of like Steve, where they're like, getting after it still.
Yeah, like no sign of slowing down.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I've heard of people who've biked around Winnebago.
Nice. I actually biked.
I was like, wow, that's a distance.
I've biked from Duluth, Minnesota to the Twin Cities. It's 150 miles.
Yeah, I was doing a mental math there.
150.
Yeah. Wow. Why?
It was a charity ride, actually.
Okay.
It was 75 miles over 2 days.
Whoa.
You know what the worst part is? Your butt bones.
As I say, your tailbone.
No, not my tail. Like your sit bones, like where your hips are.
Oh, yeah.
Mine were so.
Oh, it's a weird.
They were brutal. I was
too.
wearing 2 pairs of shorts, and every time I sat in the seat, it was like, oh, this hurts.
So I wonder how that is for cyclists. Like they develop like tolerance over time.
Yeah, I used to race bikes, and you get more used to it. It's just. It's hard to get used to that many hours because you bike like 8 hours and then you bike another 8 hours. I remember you told me
that with marathons of the saying feet. Like I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just the fact that they're running. It's like you're on your feet for so long.
Yep.
Like we're so used to like being up for a little bit and taking a seat and I'm like that made total sense.
Yeah, the pounding in your feet. It's stuff people never think about until you do it.
It's like the opposite for jiu-jitsu. We're just on our back the whole time.
Yeah.
For certain people,
have to sit up.
I have to stand up to use my feet.
Oh,
I don't know how to wobbly toddler right now.
Worse than the gi too. You know, if I can just get a grip on you,
I'm falling. Yeah. Thank you.
But also update for our listeners. Those who emailed in,
yes,
thank you for emailing in.
Thank you very much.
And they should be seeing their BJJ Fanatics gift card already.
Yes. So I have the codes. I just have to send them out to you. But thank you for everyone for responding. We had a weird forwarding issue that we had tested out early on when we set up the email, and for some reason, I popped back into it. Suddenly, there was like 7 forwarding errors.
Bummer.
We're sitting there like, oh, error. I'm like, what's going on? We just tested that before, but it's not like any lost emails, but they're there. But
cool.
I thought it'd be forwarded to kind of our default emails, and for some reason, it wasn't happening. But yes, we got everyone's emails. Thank you very much, and we're looking forward to hopefully popping into another grappling event pretty soon. Whether it's Grappling Industries or we can see like Naga. I was just at Joey's place yesterday, and he had a whole list of different events that was happening in the Midwest,
cool.
and I was like, that's like 8 events.
Whoa!
Throughout this later part of the year.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of opportunities for grip strength testing.
Yeah, come by our booth.
We gotta think of something else too. I don't know. That was fun, but.
By the way, well, I think we should keep going and see if anybody can beat our grip champ of 157.
Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge.
Yeah, Jorge.
Which he'll have that $25 gift card coming his way.
That's right.
$10 for being on the cast.
Yes.
And then $100 for our random drawing winner.
There you go. That's a good one.
But the grip champ, I think that was cool. And also, maybe we should start training our grip. So we can represent.
Joey said the other day he was mentioning those devices. What's it called? Those grip ones that have the
crushers.
Levels.
Yep.
Yeah,
I actually used to have those.
Yeah, like guys, you were saying that the other day too, of like how you could click them together. And if you can click them together, you get like a certificate or something.
Yeah,
like
number
that.
4. I think it was number 4. It was like 350 pounds or some ridiculous.
I think some things like that. I have to see like a video of someone doing it.
I've seen it. It's crazy.
Just
the
like
guy who does it is like not even big. He just looks like a normal guy wearing like a button-up shirt.
It's like that rock climber that we had.
Yeah.
It's just like you think it was just some massive like, Half-Thor Bjornsson guy that comes there and just takes and just grips and destroys it. And it's like, nope, just some regular dude. Like, let me grab this.
Those Captain of Crushers, like I had a couple of them and I sold them because I was never using them.
Yeah.
But like I bought the number 2 first, thinking, oh, I got pretty strong grip. I'll be able to do this.
Sure.
No, the 2, like that was pretty hard. I think I closed it once.
Yeah, just like
the
barely,
2.
like, I think I heard metal.
And then
click.
I got like a 1, and I got like the trainer, like kitty one and stuff. And then I was able to actually build it up a little bit, but I haven't touched those in years.
Luke was here not that long ago. And
did he crush
it?
it?
No, he did. He got like I just like always love visualizing Luke's face when he's doing stuff. It looks like he's like picking a car up for his
powering
kid.
up.
Yeah, it's amazing. But it was like 135, I think, something like that. But it's interesting. I think I said the same thing to him.
Board.
I want something that like feels like I'm actually moving it. I don't like the device where it just like squeeze and there's like nothing moving. I want like just a little give to it. I think it would change the grip versus like feeling like I'm pushing against like a solid substance. Like I can't move it at all. I don't know. Just this is sensation of it, but it is weird. It's funny that a lot of jiu-jitsu people get so fascinated with grip strength. Do you think like Jorge, if you shook his hand hard, he'd crush your hand? Is that like a correlation with it? I know obviously his grip, like you're holding on to someone.
He's got solid grip.
But like, do you think like
probably? I don't know. He's got strong hands.
That's such an art form, isn't it? I think I've actually gotten some handshake stuff down pretty well.
Yeah.
I think I'm a pretty decent
handshaker. Come by our booth and shake Levi's hand.
I think it's because I think I feel like I do a good job matching energy. Is the difference. I don't go out there and like have like here's what I'm doing or like the limp hand. I kind of go amorphous into it, and once I make the connection, I can kind of adjust.
I don't like it though when people jump the gun on you and grab your fingers.
Yeah,
I've had that where like they come in for the handshake and they go like this.
Oh, I you just crush it.
No, they don't. They just
no,
but
like they hear
it. Just grab and you're like, I've in the past I've stopped people and go, let's do that again.
we can't keep continuing with
that because they don't know hand to hand.
Yeah,
meet
webbed.
Boom. Yeah, see, that's how you do a handshake.
See, I'm good with that.
Yeah, see? Handshake lessons.
Go from web to web.
I got one more banter piece here. Did you have an iPod back in high school?
Who didn't? I had it for Christmas that I really wanted so bad was a video iPod.
Oh,
I
remember that when it came
video
out?
Screen, and I was like, I need to have this because I was obsessed with just videos and all that stuff. And I'm like, I can watch Halo trailers on my video iPod and things like that. But yeah, I had one. I think I had a Shuffle. What was the Shuffle one?
That was without the screen?
That was without the screen, I think. I don't think I had a standard iPod, though. I think I had like a generic MP3 player. And then I had the Shuffle, but I don't think I had a generic iPod. I just saw the video one. I'm like, I must have this. I wore that thing down to the ground. How much I played it.
That's awesome.
Why'd you ask?
I had a Mini, and then I actually ended up getting a Shuffle years later that my mom sent to this company that waterproofs them. So I actually still have it, so you can listen to it when you're swimming.
So is it like some sort of clear plastic film that goes over it?
They actually take it apart, and then they pour this goop into it, and it makes it waterproof.
Oh, and it looks completely the same?
Yep, looks the same. It was pretty wild. Kind of cool, right?
What a feature.
Yeah, it was a neat...
I'm going to go scuba diving and listen to Nirvana.
Well, actually, I used to swim laps a lot.
Okay.
So I was just kind of getting like, all right, staring at the lines enough, But
I've seen that with maybe the armbands that swimmers would have.
Just the temporal ones are really cool.
Would
have
have
you seen
it
those?
Swim. The tempora?
Like they go in your temple. They're the wildest thing. And I remember I tried a pair. They literally sit next to your head. And once you put your head in the water, they sound really clear.
So you're just like hearing music?
Yeah.
But it's not going through your ears?
Yes.
Whoa.
It blew my mind. Mine wasn't like that. I just had like underwater earbuds.
That's really cool though.
But you know what's something kind of funny? When I used to work at Best Buy when I was a wee lad.
Oh, Best Buy. Okay.
Yep. Worked there a little bit in high school. And I used to work in the mobile department. And people would always come up and ask, what's the difference between an iPod and an MP3 player?
Oh, interesting.
And then I would explain to them that it is an MP3 player. Blah, blah, blah. That all iPods are MP3 players, but not all MP3 players are iPods. And I thought that it kind of leads in today's topic.
Oh, what a segue. I was like, where are you going with this, Matt? I'm like, we could talk MP3s. I'm good with that.
Yeah, so today's topic, what is the difference between grappling, wrestling, and BJJ, or really any other like that type of art?
That's a good segue. I like that.
Boom. So I got some definitions, but I've been blabbing a lot. I think I'd love to hear what you have for maybe your definition of BJJ.
BJJ. First of all, this is my hot take. I'm my own personal preference. I am not a fan when people always say BJJ. This is the worst one. That's like second. The first one's like BJJ. People go BJJ. I do BJJ. Yeah, but BJJ just I don't know. I guess this will get into conversations about the differences. I would say because I think sometimes people say BJJ as an umbrella term for grappling, and I think it's a very specific part in the umbrella. So it's kind of similar if you just say we're grappling. I guess that's the point of this podcast is kind of divide things out and sort things out. So when people say certain things, is the difference. So for me, first of all, BJJ is short for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a form of grappling that is submission-based. There's definitely points for competitions, but obviously the end goal is we can finish our matches with submission. But the predominant factor of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the kimono and the gi that you wear. The gi top, the gi pants, even the belt. That is a defining factor of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was just watching Demetrius Johnson. Jordan had sent me the other day of Demetrius Johnson competing in IBJJF. But the weird part that caught me off guard, and this goes to my lack of experience in official IBJJF competitions, is that they had a person that was in head of a line, and as you entered that person, they measured your sleeves and your lapels and your belt. And they do all these things of like, it has to be competition legal of sleeves. So it kind of makes sense when I've seen things in the past that when you buy the gi, it says IBJJF, competent, like you can wear it. So it's not just some like silly thing you wear, but if you wear an IBJJF, you'll be like disqualified. I'm like, oh.
I bet you it's because I bet you they didn't always have those rules. It's because people show up with wacky stuff.
I would imagine.
And there's always like two jerks who will try to always game a system to the max. You see it even in professional matches.
Yeah.
Somebody rings out, right?
Yeah.
And they like are trying so hard to be like, oh, no, their hands weren't clasped. Oh, my God. And then they throw a fit about it.
I think the difference with this one is just like you said, the sport aspect versus I think in no-gi stuff, which we'll talk about later, it's maybe for safety's sake for what you wear.
I think it's also because then if you wear a skin-tight gi, no one can grab it.
Well, this is what I was saying, because if someone comes with a gi and the gi is like up your sleeve, like, towards your elbow. Like,
you're wearing like a t-shirt.
I'm wearing a gi. And it's like, but dude, I can't,
t-shirt.
I can't grab anything. Like, it's not the fair. And then my sleeves are down to my wrist and you have full clear access, So I get it at that point, but it was just interesting, like the additional measurement. But when I went to Grappling Industries and competed in the gi, none of that. There's never a measurement. You just walked out and did your thing.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But anyways, my main focus was when someone says Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if they say they run a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes, I'm assuming that it is two people in kimonos and the belts. I always thought it was funny that the belt was just aesthetic. I'm like, you can grab the belt for sweeps.
Yep.
You can grab the belt for control. Someone needs to make the martial art now have the belt as a submission tool.
Yeah, if for some reason you're not allowed
please.
to. Yeah.
If you can make that happen, like, why not? You're sitting here just trying to strangle each other's carotids. Like, if I can take your belt and use it against your neck if I want to, or to tie your hands up or whatever, by all means.
Maybe
like, we're using our apparel anyways to compete against each other. Like, the belt is there. That's my hot take.
Nice.
I want to see that happen.
Belt-friendly jiu-jitsu.
Belt-friendly
You
jiu-jitsu.
start guys show up with like 45-foot long belts or something,
It's like how durable it is. Like, there's no much give, so you wrap it around the neck.
They look
it's
like mummies.
This thing is not gonna strain at all. Some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu also focuses on self-defense aspect as well, but I think that's where I start pushing the category more into Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh.
I'm not sure that's on the list at all, but I thought about it the other day. I'm like, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, I think should be almost classified as well.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
So what I did is I actually just had a really simple definition that
nice.
BJJ is the sport and activity done in the gi of controlling your opponent in a way that leads to submission. That was my
ideally
thought.
Matthew, but if you're playing IBJJF rules, you got to go for the points.
Oh, I know. That's not, I'm not counting that one.
The spirit of jiu-jitsu
is
for the submission. But you can game, I'm sure, with all these other grappling arts, right?
Yeah.
You can game the system where it's like, hey, if you do a half this and half that. And yeah. So the idea is submission. We start talking jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. And I think for this type of conversation, I think that works fine.
Now, it's interesting because when I start looking into definitions of judo and sambo, they have submissions as well. This is where it gets weird. That's why when
I forgot judo has like arm bars.
Yeah. So when you're like saying going for submission, I'm like, technically that's the overall spirit of it, but like things like sambo and judo have submissions as victory options as well.
That's cool.
So yeah, we can kind of spread our focuses a little bit with those things later, but I thought it was very interesting because sambo has like kind of a multiple rule set basically.
Really?
Which I think it's almost a very interesting variation, something I would actually explore later on of teaching sambo here.
Yeah, teach a little bit of everything, right?
Oh, because cool. It was like a mix of wrestling and throws and submissions that you get like points for. But not, I get it because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Jiu-Jitsu itself, like you get points for takedowns. I guess, well, let's see what's here. So Jiu-Jitsu itself has actually two separate competition. Well, we can get technical here. Has two separate competition formats. And I would say one, sometimes they have it where it's no points. It's basically just winning by submission or referee's decision. And the other format has submission victory opportunities, but you can also win by points ranked by sweeps, positional advancements, and things like that once the time limit goes out. That's like the two. I mean, there's different point system. You get like ADCC where it's like the first, 5 minutes, like there's no points. The other 10 minutes or whatever, there's points and things like that. So there are things like that, but yeah, so I guess where we're at with that, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So yeah, that's one of
That's one. Yeah, so Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one.
Another one I had here was submission grappling.
Yes, so I think submission grappling, it's so weird because I wish there was a different name for it.
Yeah.
Because like you got Jiu-Jitsu, which sounds fantastic. And then it's like, I never like saying no-gi. Because no-gi just implies like we're just the like, I should say anti, but it's just like without. Yeah. We're the without gi.
Yeah, versus just saying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is with gi.
Well,
right?
Yeah,
right?
Some people say it's no gi or yes gi.
Or how about why is BJJ not no gi?
Yeah, not no gi. That's a good way of putting it. Not
that's
no
a neat
gi.
way to think about it.
But
though.
just no gi. Like we do no gi. Like it just feels, I should say separatist, but it just feels like it's not like a unique sport. I don't have a name for it. So submission grappling is fine, but it doesn't have a connotation of like you give the visualization of it right away.
Yeah, it's like defining it by its clothing. It's kind of weird.
That's what it is.
100%.
Because I think prior to maybe 10 years ago, there wasn't grappling schools or let's say jiu-jitsu schools that made a full distinction of just no gi. The only one that predominantly did that was 10 Planet. But that doesn't dictate the sport. They just say they did jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So I would say with submission grappling, that's kind of where I start using the blanket term of jiu-jitsu. We just do jiu-jitsu.
That's a neat idea.
Jiu-jitsu is just submission grappling. But then if you say I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, now it's grappling with
a gi on.
A gi on.
Which, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You do yes-gi.
Yes-gi. Yeah.
Yes-gi. But does that make sense? It's like connotation or and like a variations of the core goal and philosophy.
Yeah.
Of jiu-jitsu, of grappling.
Should call it American jiu-jitsu.
There is American jiu-jitsu.
I know. Jake Shields has been
Jake Shields and Keenan Cornelius, like American jiu-jitsu, but it's more like a marketing thing than really like a separate thing. But Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and then we have the other version, which is Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Yep, that's true. Good point.
So this is where I get all the arguments of like, well, you can't say jiu-jitsu. Well, why not? Well, there's Japanese jiu-jitsu. I'm like, when's the last time you ever were talking with someone and go, well, you can't say jiu-jitsu because there's a Japanese jiu-jitsu school down the road. Like, you're not, it's few and far between that you'll ever run into like a Japanese jiu-jitsu school. That's why people say it's BJJ. Like, I'm like, just call it jiu-jitsu. Why do you have to say
because
BJJ?
For a long time, jiu-jitsu was just like Japanese jiu-jitsu was just jiu-jitsu. So I think maybe that's the argument for it. Because, because if you think about it, right, if they created jujitsu,
I would say back in 1940s,
Yeah.
it was still kind of, I should say thriving, but it was still existent. But now as it progresses 50 years, 70 years later, like, especially in America, like there's not predominant Japanese jiu-jitsu. Like if you popped on your phone and went Japanese jiu-jitsu schools, like what's the next closest one in the Midwest?
See, that's where I almost think a different name completely would actually be best, because if you think about it, it's like, oh, that's a Japanese hamburger. Oh, that's a Brazilian hamburger. What's the difference between the Brazilian and the Japanese hamburger? Oh, so much. There's a lot of differences.
You should be able to say it.
So, versus going like, oh, that's this name and that's this name.
So this is why I called Theory Jiu-Jitsu Studio, because I just wanted an umbrella term for what we focus on here. Is our ultimate end goal is
wrist locks,
which is actually Japanese jiu-jitsu, right?
Know. Yeah, that's why I threw that joke in there.
I was like, wrist locks. But yeah, so Japanese jiu-jitsu, the difference is it was meant for self-defense. It was ideally meant for samurai who was without a weapon on the battlefield or lost their weapon and was able to grab wrists, control people, and basically to use off-balancing techniques to get people down to the ground, wrist locks, and remove weapons. I mean, think of a wrist lock or arm lock, like you're breaking the arm or you're choking them unconscious because you don't have a weapon to kill them.
Or just breaking their grip on something.
Or breaking their grip, So it makes total sense. More self-defense focus. I'm not sure how much they focus on guns and knives and things like that too with theirs, but that was mostly for the sword. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu transformed it to where they're using judo clothing and focused on the newaza? Newaza is like the ground techniques of judo. And this actually is probably a good transition from Japanese Jiu-Jitsu to judo, because judo focused on the standing aspects of a grappling exchange, of just grabbing the kimono and throwing people down. And newaza was the ground aspect of judo. So the more research I did into it, and feel free, anyone wants to correct me, was that if a throw wasn't a sufficient point, like if it wasn't clean, the referee allows continued action on the ground.
Yeah, if it's not, it wasn't ippon.
Yeah, ippon, and I think there's another one that was like a half point. But if there's not clean action, you'll keep going. And if it stalls out at any point, it's a referee's discretion to stand you back up.
Oh.
So the difference, though,
that's interesting,
is that in judo, as far as the ground techniques, and this is probably made famous by Ronda Rousey, because arm locks are a huge thing in judo. So arm locks or joint locks, I should say, and then chokes. So you can use the strangleholds of the gi against the person. But
there's got to be some rules with that, because people give up their back to not get pinned.
I think part of it is because the potential having a clean throw, right? So you throw and just hope that the throw itself would count as the point versus to keep going and like take someone's back. So I'm not 100% on the strategies with it. Can always interview Travis Stevens someday because he's a big time American judo player with jiu-jitsu background. But so you can only do strangleholds and arm locks. What's missing, Matthew? Leg locks. You can't do leg locks.
After the IOC did some changes a couple cycles ago too, you can no longer do like singles and doubles and stuff, like straight to leg attacks.
Are you talking singles and doubles?
For like takedowns. You used to be able to do
like judo?
Yeah, you used to be able to do like singles and legos and such.
You know what? I never thought about that. So I always thought judo was more the upper body control and using the legs as like sweeps.
Now it is, because you can't, like that was a big thing. Travis Stevens used to be.
Are you saying like 5 years ago people could do single legs in
I think it was
judo?
longer than that. It was
I'm saying like as
just X amount of time ago. That was my understanding of it, because Travis Stevens, I heard him on a podcast talking about how he was upset about the new ruling, because he was like, my whole game was built around this setup. So then he had to change his entire game.
So but then judo, you could do like the takedowns of the single leg and double leg, but it's just taking someone down and not having to worry about pinning them.
I think you still pinned him.
Okay. Well, I guess that
you
goes
still
into
pin in judo.
Yeah, there's still like clarity of if you do like an uchimata, that's like, there's no pin with that. You just have to have a clean throw.
Yeah, but also you can tell when you see, like, if you watch some like judo reels, right? Like you see, first off, some ridiculous moves. Like they're so good. I've seen people barrel roll in the air and laying on their feet. Like
I remember I saw a post lately with Chris Makuta, Roy Dean black belt, and he was saying, if I was ever in a self-defense situation, I would use judo first because I'm going to hit them with the earth.
Yeah, I've heard that saying before.
Okay, hit them with the earth. I'm like, ouch, that'd be bad.
But yeah, so anyways, we need to learn more about judo. I think that's what this comes down to.
Yeah. The other place I trained at frequently was Gracie Milwaukee, and they had or have currently judo like champ, something like that.
Oh,
that
nice.
would come in every once in a while and they teach judo stuff. I really like getting into it because especially lately in the was it the not yeski?
The not yeski?
Yeah.
The not nogi?
Foot sweeps are
nogi.
major.
The not.
But it's all judo stuff, all foot sweeps, a lot of exchanges, upper body using foot sweeps to take people down. So that's all judo based. There's no wrestling aspect of that. But I think we go back to, let's see what's here. So judo, kind of covered just a little bit the focuses of it, right? Clean throws. There are some submissions.
Yep, some
we're
pins.
in the gi, so you're wearing the kimono.
You can win the match by doing a killer throw.
Right.
Like that's the thing.
I guess it goes back to what you just talked about, the spirit of grappling.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the spirit of each art.
Yep.
So jiu-jitsu, the spirit of it is the submission victory. So getting and forcing our opponent to tap out via joint lock pressure or strangulation pressure.
Yeah, really, most things are on the table.
And then with judo, the art of it is the throw, the cleanliness, the clean nature of the throw.
Yeah.
But you can still win by
winning a scramble and
scrambles and submissions and things. Same with jiu-jitsu. It's the same thing.
Or maybe you could scramble out.
You can win a submission match or a jiu-jitsu match by throwing your opponent down. That gets points.
Yep.
Getting around their legs, which I guess is more wrestling-esque, right? You can get around someone's legs and then pinning them down.
I saw a video of Travis Stevens a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He just won a match. He just kept tossing the guy. He literally tossed him and then just stood there and waited for him to stand back up.
I remember when I was
like a brown belt at the time.
I was done with my super seminar at ADCC, and I just saw Travis Stevens like standing in the stands.
Yeah.
And I was like walking by. I'm like, I just need a picture with him. Like no one's talking to him or whatever. And I'm just like,
perfect.
Hey, can I get a picture? I'm like, he's very visually noticeable. And I'm like, he had like a referee outfit on, I think, too. But it was like, I'm like, can we get a picture? I saw a couple people like that. I would just hang around the stands. I'm like, I know you.
That's crazy.
With you.
Olympian.
Yeah, just hanging around.
Chilling there.
I'm just like, can I get a picture quick? Can't remember what it was. A prominent Marcelo Garcia black belt that was like right next to me watching like Rafa Mendes, and I'm just looking at him like, can I get a picture with you quick? He's like, oh sure, he's like holding his kid or whatever, just like, yeah, totally cool. Like you're standing ready because I'm like, I love your stuff. Like he had like kind of curly blonde hair a little bit and top level guy. I don't know why he's blanking on his name right now. I apologize, but just really solid guy. Okay, so judo, spirit of the clean throw. Sambo gets a little weird.
Yeah, actually, I don't know much about Sambo.
So Sambo,
they don't wear pants.
Yeah, they wear pants, man. They just wear like
shorts.
Shorts.
They
okay.
wear shorts.
I was like
shorts, shoes.
They wear
short top.
Oh, shoes. Yeah, are fantastic. I mean, I think a lot of my Sambo experience or what I see is a Khabib. Obviously, is a big one of a predominant pusher of Sambo,
man.
And then like John Wick. Seen John Wick. John Wick was a lot of Sambo stuff. I think it was in the third movie. He's going to see like that woman, and he's going past a room that was all boys doing Sambo, just hard hitting.
I still gotta watch John Wick 3.
It's not the only good part of John Wick 3 is the first 15 minutes.
Oh, well, that's good to know. When I'm on because Delta has all of them.
Oh, sure.
So I watch them on the flight sometimes.
It's the first 15 minutes, but I think because there was such a significant jump in realism from the second to the third one, and I was like,
because I was the first.
But the third one when he's trying to escape New York, yeah, that was really cool. So Sambo, you can throw, you can submit, but let's get back to that. So submissions, what's the predominant submission of Sambo? Do you know?
I'm guessing an armbar. No. No, they do leg locks.
Leg locks.
They do leg locks.
Leg locks
actually,
is their main one. So they were predominantly playing with leg locks. I'm not sure the origin of like the submission folk. I think they were very submission focused, but I have seen some sort of entanglements too. There's a predominant guy, Riley Bodycomb, that he had showed a lot of Sambo leg lock stuff, like maybe early 2010s as well. But it just, he has some unique names for the positions, but it wasn't until Eddie Cummings and Danaher and that whole squad like really blew up the positional sequences of it. But leg locks were big. I mean, magic grabbing. Okay, so this is cool. Magic grabbing someone's heel or foot and they have shoes on.
Oh, I feel like it'd be a done deal, right? Like, because I feel like you get more bite with it.
More leverage maybe on
they can't slip either.
On foot, yeah. Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you'd just wreck a knee.
Huh. Oh, that's true. Maybe we'll have to play with that. So there's that. But there's no chokes. Sambo.
Okay.
No chokes. Only joint locks.
Okay.
So the chokes, I'm not 100% sure point system wise, but yeah, the predominant visual feature is they wear a gi top, but they have like shorts on and and shoes. So it's kind of like
It's an
kind of a
interesting
weird
attire.
hybrid look.
Yeah.
It's like they're a wrestler, but they're a gi grappler, and
Some of those guys look really tough too.
oh, they're so tough.
Like and some of the throws are beautiful. Like you see some of the suplexes and whatnot.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Well, there's an aggressiveness to it. I think that's kind of what the reputation is of Sambo. I think I remember, like, there was that shirt that could be bore a while ago. Like, if Sambo was easy, it'd be called jiu-jitsu.
Throwing shade.
Everyone's like, oh, like, it's good. I mean, it's all like
they're all
brother
cool.
sibling stuff with jiu-jitsu. So,
all right. So the next one I have here is just like standard wrestling.
Standard wrestling. We need Jordan
I
on
know.
here. We're gonna get Jordan. So Jordan Laster is Theory's head coach for our wrestling program. He's a Division I Princeton grappler. Super nice guy.
Yeah, great training partner.
Great training partner. So he'll be on the podcast, and we'll dive more into the wrestling aspect. But like we said, with the spirit of some of these other grappling arts, the spirit of the wrestling art is the pin, right?
Yep.
Which makes sense.
Here's the definition I have.
Go for it. You have it.
The sport and activity of controlling your opponent in a way that leads to a takedown and a pin.
I like that you said activity. It sounds like it's a fun time.
Yeah. I wrote the sport and activity for all of my definitions
have an activity
here. By the way, everyone, these are not things I looked up. They are ones I made up. So I'm sure there's better ones out there, but I was just
I
thinking,
just like activity.
Hey,
activity has like a fun energy about it.
Yeah,
like,
because like
I
it's not
sew,
always
I do, art collections, and I just throw people.
Yeah. It's actually funny at work. People will be like, yeah, I play soccer. And I'll be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then like, what do you like to do? And like, oh, I like submission grappling.
Submission grappling.
And they usually look at you kind of like, wait,
Yeah.
what? They're like, yeah. And like, is that where they choke each other? And like, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And like, it's just kind of funny. People really like don't know, who are the uninitiated, don't know how to kind of
That's true.
take that,
It's funny
kinda
that
funny.
a lot of grapplers, especially if they don't have much for cauliflower ear, always seem so unassuming. My brother doesn't do any grappling, but he had done some sort of icebreaker for work, and like, oh, tell something that is unique about you that no one else knows. And then my brother just pulls up his pant leg, and it's just this massively detailed, Nordic tattoo.
That's
like,
cool.
You can't see anything about him on the outside. Everyone's like, whoa, look at that thing. And it's like, yeah, but it's not assuming like, oh yeah, you look like you would go play, badminton or something like that. And it's like, oh no, I roll around and choke people in arm locks. Like, that's such a bizarre thing when you think about it, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
It's fun. That's why we
So
do it.
fun.
What's that? People try to put too much meaning behind things sometimes, I think.
Mhm.
And sometimes if you look at kids, they just do stuff because it's fun.
That's true.
And like, you can't do everything because it's fun. Like
Yeah.
that.
But it's an
Children
easy,
do what they want. Adults do what they have to. But
that's why I think that
But-
altitude trampoline park is so fantastic.
freaking place rocks, man.
because you can,
like, I love going to the trampoline park.
but it's like all physical activity.
Love it. I'm
It's-
exhausted when I'm
There's
done
a
there.
little obstacle course, and kids feel challenged, and everyone's moving around.
Tons
but
of
it's like,
trampolines.
but no one's telling a kid like, oh, you gotta go do push-ups.
There's one thing I really want to do there.
What's that?
It's always closed off. They have the walls that go into the trampoline. So you can like jump off the wall into the trampoline, back up onto
So
the
if
wall.
I walk in there,
Yeah, okay. I think we're talking about the same one. We have so many
Over here?
trampoline parks. I lose track.
I'm pointing in the direction of where
I
it
don't
is.
know. I'm directionally
What do you mean?
challenged.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know where
You're
anything is. I don't know where anything is. But it's the one that
okay.
has like the ropes course. It's really big.
Is it up
It's got the Ninja
top,
Warrior
basically?
stuff.
Talk about Matt. It's the one in Appleton,
I
right
don't know,
here.
There's like isn't there like 5 of these things here?
I don't even.
We had a
as,
Sky Zone,
as much as you're
Extreme Air, or
directionally
whatever.
challenged, I'm so challenged at names of like I couldn't tell you that road.
Well, let's just assume we're talking about the same thing.
I don't know because I would like to have gone and done the wall and the
Yeah,
trampoline.
it's closed off. I think you have to go there at special times.
Okay, well,
But this is the one that has like the spinny thing that's like the post that you got to jump over.
Oh,
Have you not even gone to the sickest trampoline park we have in town?
we
Levi?
have. You don't even know what town it is.
It's in this town.
I pointed over in that direction. Okay, so you go down the
That's
road
out of
here.
town.
You go literally down this road.
Down Casaloma.
Yeah, this is Casanova. And you go west on Wisconsin Avenue.
Hold on, let me get my phone out. I'm looking.
It's altitude. It's like crammed in by where Bed Bath and Beyond was, and right across the street from Stein's.
Hold on, I gotta look
You
this
have
up.
no clue. Okay, well, Matt's looking that up. So wrestling is defined as the art of the pin. So I mean, there's obviously many different variations and ways to do it, and just like other grappling arts, that there's different variations of successes of points and things like that. But I guess we're talking about the spirit of it. So
yeah, Altitude's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the one over here.
Altitude's legit. They have the wall thing there.
Okay, so like I said, if I walk in there,
Yeah.
where am I looking, Matt?
Back left wall.
I have a
back left wall. Back left wall.
Is that where you have
behind the warp wall?
Yeah, is a warp wall the thing you run up and grab?
It's behind
that. Oh,
yep.
Well, that's good to know for your son.
Also fun to do.
That's cool. But yeah, anyways, fun physical activity that kids have no clue what they're doing. Like pushed on it. I saw a really cool video. This guy had like basically like 5 kids and went through all these athlete stuff and was suggesting parents what to do with their kids. And he said the first couple of years of their life, like between like 4 and 7, they should do gymnastics. And he said it develops a spatial awareness and body awareness for kids, and it's super low risk or super low injury proof, and they get to move around and use their body. Then from 7 till 10, you get them accustomed to trying different sports. And then at that point, you'll find one that kind of aligns with their personalities. But the funny part was the third one, he said, and then pick one sport and all your kids have to do it.
Just at the same time, just for funsies?
Not just for fun, but he said like literally scheduling wise, you can't be split having 4 kids going to 4 different sports, especially in 2023. Like I've known plenty of parents that are just like, I got to bring my kid to baseball. I got volleyball over here.
Yeah,
I got
your life becomes shuttling.
Or I know these friends that have kids that are constantly in hockey, and it's like they have to put all their kids in hockey because they're gone every single weekend, and it's like you can't have split focus. Like, oh, there's a baseball tournament here, and then there's a soccer tournament here. It's like you can't keep up if you want to be constantly engaged, and you have 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like that would be tough. Like I was so engaged with karate, but my parents weren't bringing me all over the state for karate. Like every once in a while for competition, and then my brother was no sports at all, so he was just doing more computer work and things like that. So, but I can't imagine having kids all roughly in high school and middle school these days of that kind of stuff. So probably same with wrestling. We got Cooper here. I'm sure he's always
wrestling's at the school though. So that's the difference too.
I would argue that I think they do a lot of meets in other places too.
Oh,
it's not
that's
just
a good
like
point.
at your school. I think you have to travel, and I would hope it's like a local, not like, oh, we're driving on to Illinois to do some high school grappling. I'm like, dude, it's Northeast Wisconsin. Like you got Wrightstown and Freedom and Kaukauna. Like
I don't know. We'll have to ask Jordan about that.
There we go.
But okay, person. Jumping back on topic because I know you're on a time budget.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so we went through wrestling, submission grappling / no-gi / not in the gi jujitsu.
Not yes gi.
Not yes gi. And then we talked about sambo. Oh, I had one here. Or 2 couple actually. One
couple.
Sumo.
Oh, sumo.
Yeah. Sumo's interesting. The thing I like about sumo wrestling is it's a very action-oriented activity that's meant to be like viewer-friendly, minus all the dancing and stuff they do in the beginning where they like do their form thing.
That's like Muay Thai. Muay Thai has all their stuff, and it's like it's so traditional, but they are just vicious. Oh my gosh!
But sumo's cool. I think sumo's cool.
You could literally feel the energy in the crowd of when two sumo guys just hit.
Yeah,
it's like this is like massive connection. I've seen that. But is that just? I think a lot of a sumo is just getting people out of the ring, right?
I think so. I think
it's just more of the tactics,
or for getting them onto their back. Like if you get off your feet, right?
I'm visualizing that. So
you just got to get them on off their feet, isn't it?
Okay, that makes sense. I can't remember if it was.
They got to be so strong, dude.
Tim Ferriss.
It's got to be so hard to move them.
Well, that was that funny video with Craig Jones and the B team.
Yeah,
they went and did sumo, and
they're trying to push them.
Well, the best part was that Craig was playing with it, and he did an Imanari roll.
Yeah, to a leg lock.
Yeah, leg lock. I was like, oh, that's so funny. I actually saw a video too of Mickey Musumeci trying to do like Thai boxing too. And I was just like,
interesting.
Muay Thai.
So I got another one here too.
I still got so upset about Kickboxer, the movie. It sounds like a separate rant, but
why?
Because they didn't do kickboxing in that movie.
I'm fine with them doing Muay Thai with glass on their hands.
But they didn't call it Muay Thai. So when I went to the library and got Kickboxing for Dummies, I did not. Was not happy with my purchase there.
Kickboxer's one of my favorite Jean-Claude
Van
Damme
no.
movies.
I'm not saying it isn't fantastic. I'm saying it's not kickboxing.
Best montage
it's not kickboxing. It's
ever.
like Muay Thai, right? It's like that's the art.
Maybe that wouldn't have sold in America because people are like, "What's Muay Thai?"
Like, oh, these kickboxing classes go up. Like, no, where's the honey in the glass?
Yeah,
to it? I'm like,
well, that's because
where's the coconut training?
That was like deep, like crazy stuff.
Just as funny.
You know what best Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is though?
Mortal Kombat.
He's not in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, what was that movie?
No.
Street Fighter?
Shame
Street Fighter.
on
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
Yeah, he's in
sorry, my
Street
bad.
Fighter.
I was thinking it was the same 80s
I would say
movie.
Time Cop is actually his best movie.
I don't think I've ever seen Time Cop.
Dude, I didn't see Time Cop for so long. My buddy, who's a huge JCVD fan,
Yeah.
was like riding me to do it all the time. And I finally did watch it and was like, crap, this is actually like probably the most put together out of all of his movies, where it actually has like a theme and like cohesive thoughts to it.
With
and,
Jackie Chan movies. Like there's some like really kind of, I should say unknown ones, but things that aren't like super mainstream like America. And it's like, whoa, this is like solid Jackie Chan action right there.
You got to watch Time Cop.
All
and
right, Time Cop.
I'm going to tell you the same thing my friend told me. There's going to be a part that you're going to go, wow, and you're going to text me.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me what that part is. Okay?
Okay.
When you do
I
it.
promise that.
Because I did it and I was right.
I've been too busy lately watching Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Okay, before we're going to circle back around to that.
ADHD.
But okay.
right?
So I wanted to kind of like bring everything together. I was
Hold on,
kinda
did we
thinking
have
about
more?
that.
You had sumo. Did you
Oh,
have-
actually, I put things here like rugby. I know that's not a technical grappling
Whoa,
art,
what about
but really it's
football?
adjacent. Yeah, football, rugby, those have grappling aspects to them. And I think it shouldn't be ignored if you're truly trying to understand what works.
The Grappling Podcast.
You should probably be looking at some of these sports as well.
Yeah, we should get someone on here that's either a football player
Yeah.
and rugby player, see how grappling
Luke.
plays into. Yeah, Luke for rugby. That's a good point. We could
Yeah.
do that.
Because, yeah, so the way I thought about grappling, so, okay, here's the accumulation, right? Where it's, okay, we just talked about a bunch of different sports, right?
Mhm.
And grappling is the greater body of knowledge that looks to take what works from every martial practice where a technique does not involve striking an opponent.
Hmm.
That's what I defined grappling as.
So what about those guys that do like the no-touch knockouts? Is that a strike? Would you call that a
Yeah,
strike?
because they're striking you
With
with
your ki.
energy.
Okay, so it's not...
But hold on. Actually, you know what's funny, though? If we're being honest about it, we could
Sure.
go, okay, if we're assessing, going through like what works, we would just simply get to that and throw them on the ground and then choke them and be like, that doesn't work.
That's
and then
true.
we would throw that out of our grappling body of knowledge.
Sure.
But
So why does it still persist?
well, because people like to be delusional. I don't
That's
know.
another podcast, right?
If anybody
Yeah.
if anybody can throw energy out there and like to spar, please let me know. I'm down.
Theory Jiu-Jitsu.
And I hope I'm wrong.
1879.
I legitimately hope that I'm wrong because we got some things to learn then.
That would be fun.
Maybe they can fly.
You'd have to do something where you can't, they can't tell you it. Like they just have to do it to you.
Yeah.
Because that way it's not in the back of your mind. Because I think a lot of that stuff too is also, I shouldn't say cultish, but like what's it called?
Hypnotic.
Hypnotic in a weird way. I think that's where all those practitioners do so well because they're sort of entranced by this person. They're believing that this person can do it. So they kind of have a self, fulfilling prophecy. It's like, whoa, yeah, I'm getting weak. Oh my gosh. Like they actually feel it. I'm not doubting that, but
That they think they feel it.
that whatever you're telling them what to do, like it's
I think I chose my words specifically there.
yeah.
That they think they feel
They
it.
think they feel it. Yeah. That reminds me too of a hypnotist.
Yeah. I tried to get hypnotized once.
You tried to get hypnotized?
Yeah, it was for school projects, and we got like an A if we went up on stage to try to get hypnotized. It didn't work.
I think the only time I watched a hypnotist was at UW Fox Valley and was like during one of my lunch breaks. But the reason I thought it was so fascinating was the fact that he did things to like 7 or 8 different people. And he had like certain cue words, like the moment I say cucumber, or whatever, like giving a random thing. But he would talk like smooth in a conversation. Like if you told me to bark like a dog whenever you said cucumber and it's been 15 minutes and I'm like losing track and you said cucumber, I would be like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm supposed to bark. These people were on point at every one of these cues. It was just bizarre, unless there's like a script, but these are like random students.
So here's the weird thing.
And they were like on point.
So when I was doing it, because I was with like a group of other like 8 other people,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd be like, raise your leg, put it down. Like I was just like, okay, I'll
Oh,
try.
sure. Yeah.
And I was trying to be friendly and not just be like a stubborn jerk up on the stage because I wanted to get a good grade.
Yeah.
But like there was no actual like I'm doing this not at like under my own volition. It was just kind of like, okay, I put my foot up. Just like right now, if I said, Levi, put your arm up,
Sure.
put it down.
Yeah.
Put it up again.
Yeah.
Put it down. And then everyone else is going, oh my God, he's doing it.
Oh,
but it's
sure.
actually like, no, you're just being a good sport about it, So
I remember I used to get into like wanting to learn that stuff, the hypnotism stuff, because there's ones that do like rapid inductions. A wrap induction's like, take
Yeah,
your hand
I
out,
think
sleep.
that's
Sleep.
I put that on the same level as the energy beams and Aikido. Hot take. Aikido's
Oh,
in there too.
Aikido. We don't even not even talk
Or
about that.
Aikido. Is
grappling.
it Aikido or Aikido? Aikido?
Well, let's take the
Aikido.
Aikido.
But no, that's one where I think there's probably like 1% of it's actually useful. Like you could actually apply some.
Have you ever watched, was
that?
it A Path to Black Belt? No, was A Path.
Did it involve Steven Seagal fighting from a chair?
It
like
looks,
90% of his movies.
It looks good.
He's got sunglasses.
When you talk about it as
and he doesn't even get up. My God.
It was Steven Seagal when he was like
in his. Later.
I have to see it now. But he's like in his, I shouldn't say prime is a weird word, but kind of like ideal Steven Seagal.
Under siege.
He's got his like longer hair, is tied back, and he just looks like the awkward American.
He looks like he's
like sitting there trying to do
10,000 donuts deep. You know?
Yeah, he's actually in shape. You ever see those clips?
No. That's my Steven Seagal voice. Hey, you know I'm pretty spiritual too. You know.
You gotta wear like the tactical sunglasses he wears as well.
The 90s snowboarder sunglasses.
I would like to see an Aikido demonstrate. I guess that starts coming back to overall. If let's sum this up in a weird, quick way. If you took all of these different styles of grapplers in a room, very similar to like a UFC 1 Street Fighter-esque type thing, where it's like all these different styles coming in, and now you have all these subsets of grappling in a room, like that would be a weird argument because they're all grapplers, but they all have certain goals and certain spirit of their grappling. Yet, like you mentioned with football, they all have their different ways that they manifest grappling. Some say grappling to me is being able to take you off your feet and put you on the ground, because if I get you to the ground, well, that's really bad in a fighting situation and you would be bad.
Which is
now,
fair.
Other people go, hey, if I get you to the ground and I hold you down, that shows complete domination over you as another human being. If I can completely dominate you, I can win in a fight. And then the jiu-jitsu person goes, if I can not only get you down, possibly, but if I can get you further to that with a submission hold to threaten damaging your limbs or strangling you out, that's almost a complete definitive that in a real fight that you would be completely crippled and, you know, be now subject to death, because like either you got not passed out, but you completely are dead now with a carotids restrained long enough, or I break your leg, and I did that when we were both fresh, and now you have a broken leg. Like if I wanted to continue this to the death, now it would just be that much easier. So where it's like the points on the top dictated what a good spot it would be for yourself to strike someone else. And like that was the points. I tried arguing someone online the other week of I always like doing that, but gets perspectives of kind of like, why aren't there points for like 411 for a leg lock entanglement?
That's a good point. 411 is a
good point.
Super great spot. Good 4 points.
Yes, good 4 points. 4 points for me for 411. But like, okay, so when you define a pin or sweep, like I restrained you, you can't choose to leave right now, right? And now I have submission opportunities. But then
maybe it's because you can still get kicked.
But someone argued me, you can't get kicked if I hold you tight enough with those legs, and you can't.
You have to have double trouble in 411.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it'd have to be a weird definitive, but guard could technically be in a weird territory with that, because technically I'm holding you. You can't exactly leave right away, and I have submission opportunities.
Yeah,
but you can technically pull guard and not let people move.
But at the same time, you can still get punched in the face, and you have
from inside guard.
Yeah, because your head's against the concrete too, which is
that's why I never got really much into points. It's like, hey, you got 6 minutes to submit someone. If you can't, like
it's an imperfect system.
It makes it easy to have just 2 judges at every single ring that just watches the match in general. And if you get upset at 6 minutes that you weren't able to submit someone, it's pretty much the exact same format as MMA, because it's still judges' decisions. Like why, if it's judges' decision, why is there 3 judges, Matt, versus a point system?
Well, because then that way they can not be inconcise.
So they have
you don't go 2-2 and 2. You know, like 2 and 2 lost. You have to have an odd number.
They have their own opinion. I mean, if it's just one person.
Oh yeah,
that's watching the match.
Hey,
that's not good enough. They're keeping track of points. Let's say like you get 2 points if you take someone down in an MMA match. It's like, no, it's 3 people that have their own opinions on how much the match was dominated and controlled by the other person, and they give their scores. And there's always argument, oh, that judge always scores lower and blah blah blah. Like So it's the same with
if they always do it, that's okay. A broken scale, as long as it still reads a number and is precise, like you
they're consistent at that point.
Yeah, it's consistent. It means everybody's getting the same shake from the same judge.
What's funny is that jiu-jitsu doesn't have a point system because we don't have rounds in jiu-jitsu. We only have one round.
One round.
And it's to say like who won that one. So, all right, you said you had some other concise thing about it before I just ranted about,
Well, it's just really that grappling is the combination of all sports with more constraints from a rule set perspective. Grappling as a concept is the loosest rule set while still being able to control and submit.
This is probably like the most important podcast we did because it almost backs up why we call ourselves the Grappling Podcast.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about
we like all grappling.
How grappling is interwoven in various activities.
It's the MP3 player is what it is.
You brought it all the way around.
It's the MP3 player, and jiu-jitsu is the iPod.
Oh, you just threw shade on everybody. You just said jiu-jitsu is the iPod. What would be like,
Aikido
judo,
is the
Zune.
The Microsoft Zune. And yeah.
That's way too funny.
Yeah. Sambo's legit. Judo's legit.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you get so many people argue things. Like, that's why jiu-jitsu players predominantly are like, I don't care if I get taken down because, I could submit you. And then the wrestler can go, it's not good enough for me just to take you down. I got to hold you down. And the judo player goes, if I toss you down, like, in self-defense situations, I'd hit you with the earth and I'd hurt you and things like that. Like, it gets so weird. And striking's the same thing. It's like, well, it's only striking because, we're keeping distance and we're not taking you down to the ground. And you made that argument before about how MMA technically has that kind of overall theme where it's like your goal is to knock someone out or to submit them. Doesn't matter.
Striking or grappling.
And striking and pinning and control of your opponent plays well into the point system for referees too. So it's like eventually leads to it, but it encompasses all aspects of that. So
yeah, grappling is the greater overarching concept.
Yeah. If you do not have grappling in any form, thrown into you, like let's say martial art self-defense training, like it is a must. You can't do it. You will be completely destroyed if you do not have
any of the ones we mentioned except for Aikido, like and the energy ball one, like that'll be legitimately right. All those would work. Like all of them are viable. Some are better than others.
Now it starts getting in weird territory when you start considering judo because judo has a specific outfit requirement.
Yeah, I don't doubt.
Unless you have very strong underhooks, like Ronda Rousey made a living throwing people around in the cage, but she had like intense underhooks and
you give someone
control.
Who's good at judo a year of jiu-jitsu and they're gonna rock.
Well, it's the same thing we just talked about right now with wrestling. Because wrestling is very similar. Same.
Somebody knows how to wrestle, give them a year of jiu-jitsu, and they're going to be quite good.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wow, I just heard that if you just infuse jiu-jitsu to everyone's lives, you'll have happier, more efficient
Yeah, there you go.
live training.
And where can they buy jiu-jitsu, Levi?
Where can they? They can go to Theory Jiu-Jitsu Studio as well.
If you want to buy some jiu-jitsu.
Buy the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Do you think at some point in the future,
units of jiu-jitsu.
At some point in the future, it's going to be like Neo, where you're going to have like a plug?
If Elon Musk gets his way.
Do you think so? But to be like...
You know what's sad about that, though? The journey's kind of the whole thing.
The journey? Like, okay, so if you had like the gun skills of Equilibrium, right? Would you care about going through 5 years of training, or whatever, like to be able to do something like that? Or would you just be like, you could pay $2,000 and you'd get precise focuses and
I'll do it all.
Was that?
Do it all. I'll pay the $2,000, get the gun things, and then I'll do jiu-jitsu too.
Can you imagine jiu-jitsu courses in the future are like you're buying for digital upgrades for your actual mental
Get the Gordon
software.
Ryan upgrade.
You're just like, you can upgrade your skills, and there's like promotions. And
the Andrew Wilsey
there's
arm drag.
There's random
upgrade.
people like, hey, I'm just your average Joe until I got the Gordon Ryan thing. And now suddenly it's like...
That's funny though, your tissues wouldn't be used to it though. So your brain would know where to go, but your body would just be like, ah.
Yeah, I wonder if like your body would suddenly like get all wrecked up because of it.
Yeah,
doing certain things.
Tissues take a long time to get built up.
Like imagine if you could do gymnastic things, but then your body is like, oh no.
Yeah,
I know.
You know what? Case in point.
Yeah.
You and I know how to do a double backflip.
Whoopsies. Yeah.
But neither of us can do a double backflip.
Oh, probably now too. I could probably do a high roundhouse kick, but my hamstring muscles are not as
see.
As loose as they were.
You just
I know how to do it.
That's how guys around our age start getting hurt is they start doing things from when they were in their early 20s. You know?
I think always my favorites when I think about kicks is when kids would try to kick high enough. And you ever see kids who try to round kick high enough and their base foot gets pulled out underneath them?
Yeah, and they fall.
Yeah, because like the hamstring's too tight. They pull up.
Or they're just also hitting the limit of their hip bone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the limit, and then the other foot has to pull in.
That's why I wish we actually practiced lower kicks back when we did striking arts. Because I would, honestly, if I had to kick someone with that kick,
yeah,
I would just kick for the leg, the thigh. I'd go for thigh kicks.
That sounds like someone else should have the striking podcast. And you can have the differences of
maybe
striking.
Once we build the grappling network of podcasts.
That's true.
The Marshall network of podcasts.
We'll talk with someone that got the striking podcast.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Nice.
Where can people find us, Levi?
thegrapplingpodcast.com. It seems like a lot of people listen to us on Apple Podcasts. So if that is a predominant use of yourselves, please subscribe on there.
And give us a 5-star review,
Give
please.
us a 5-star review. Always helpful.
Or shoot us a message if you don't want to give us 5.
That's true.
And tell us why.
That's true.
Or just give us 5 and then tell us why you shouldn't have given us 5.
And in the comments, you can let us know what is your favorite grappling art and what you like to practice, and tell us why you want to train jiu-jitsu.
Also, hold on, I'm going to throw one more.
What?
If you have any ideas on any topics you would like to hear, just email us at info@thegrapplingpodcast.com.
That's true. And it can't be, why don't you guys train Aikido more? Can't do that one.
If someone wants to do Aikido here, I'd be down to do like a seminar. I'd do a seminar.
Okay, are you saying a seminar, an Aikido seminar? But would you have such a tough time like holding back your tongue? Would that just not suck? You're just watching the whole time and you're just like...
I just wouldn't go with the stuff. Well, like, I don't know.
It's just...
I just let them do their thing. Try to pick something up. I always pick up a fancy wrist lock.
I always like the idea that if anyone steps on a platform, we'll say like as a theorist, because of theory here, like anyone steps up with something, and just like I saw the other day with that Noma interview, that's like you're putting something out there. You should be open now to either criticisms or people asking about it.
Yeah.
Like you can't be on a platform and go, well, just do it because I said so, and this makes me feel better. Versus we have a laboratory right in front of us and say, well, cool, I'm willing to test that right now.
Have them come here, and if they can beat us, we will learn from them.
We'll see what happens.
But there we go, folks. Have yourselves a great day.
See ya.